Hi honey, I'm Anja and welcome to my video. So today I'm going to be sharing my 10 top tips for avoiding a C-section. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button because I upload new videos every single week and I don't want you to miss any. First, a little bit of background information about C-sections. So there are three kinds of C-section. The first is an elective C-section. That means that you book a caesarean in advance and that you know that that's how your baby is going to be born. The second kind of C-section is an emergency C-section. That means that you're given a general anaesthetic and it's a life and death situation for you and your baby has to be born as quickly as possible. The third type of C-section is an unplanned one. That means that you were planning on or hoping for a vaginal delivery, but unexpected circumstances arose during labour and it was considered safer to deliver your baby abdominally. Unplanned C-sections are actually the most common type of C-section. An elective caesarean is the second most common, and the rarest form of C-section is an emergency one. Sometimes unplanned C-sections are unavoidable, but often they are preventable. So let's delve into my 10 top tips for preventing an unnecessary C-section. So my first top tip is to eat a balanced and healthy diet during pregnancy. So make sure that you're getting 5 portions of fresh fruit and veg each day, that you're eating lean proteins, whole grain carbs and drinking plenty of water, because a healthy body is going to work better for you during pregnancy and the birth process. Now, in pregnancy, we can crave junk food and sugary snacks, but those should be eaten in moderation. Pregnancy isn't an excuse to stuff your face on crap food all day like a little piggy. So I was guilty of this in pregnancy. I craved loads of crisps, fatty, fried things, loads of chocolate, loads of sweets. But then I was like, no, I'm not actually eating for 2, and the guidelines are that you should be consuming about 200 to 300 calories extra in pregnancy, no more than that. And you should really be focusing on eating as healthily as you possibly can. So look after yourself, mama. My second top tip is to factor in some form of daily exercise. So even if that's a 20 to 30 minute slow or moderately paced walk, that's great. So if you're active in pregnancy, that encourages your baby to get into the best head down position for a smooth, comfortable and straightforward birth. My third top tip is to avoid gaining too much weight in pregnancy. So obesity is one of the main risk factors for requiring a C-section delivery. The average weight gain for a pregnant woman is between 25 and 35 pounds. That's about 11 to 16 kilos. If you seem to be gaining weight really quickly in pregnancy, you might need to up the amount of exercise you're doing or cut down on the amount of calories that you're consuming each day. My fourth top tip is to get plenty of rest and plenty of sleep in pregnancy, especially during the 3rd trimester, because your body is working so hard. If you're feeling really exhausted in the 3rd trimester of pregnancy, that's just going to mean that you'll tire out more quickly during the birth process. Now, there's no denying that labour is hard work. It's going to be physically and mentally challenging for you. So the more rest and more sleep you get in the 3rd trimester, the more rejuvenated and energised you're going to be ready for your baby's birth. And the more energised and alert you feel during childbirth, the more energy that you've got, the less likely it is that you'll require a C-section, because you'll be able to handle each stage of the labour and birth process a lot more easily. My 5th top tip is to do yoga. So prenatal yoga gives your muscles strength and endurance to have a smooth and comfortable birth experience. In yoga, you practice certain postures which strengthen your flexibility and balance. And this can help you in labour to get into and maintain certain positions to make childbirth more smooth, comfortable and straightforward for you. My 6th top tip, don't go to hospital until you're in active labour. This means that you shouldn't be travelling to your chosen birth setting until your contractions are coming about 3 to 4 minutes apart. Staying at home as long as possible allows your labour to progress smoothly, and it helps your contractions to build up in momentum. If you travel to your chosen birth setting before you're in active labour, that can interrupt the flow of the birth process. It can stop your contractions from coming, it can decrease the momentum of them, and it can just lead to unnecessary complications and unnecessary interventions. My 7th top tip is to avoid being induced. Sometimes inductions are medically necessary, but if you've just gone past your due date, that's not actually a medically justified reason to be induced and force your baby out before they're ready. So inductions can double your likelihood of needing to have a C-section delivery. So when you're induced, your contractions are synthetically stimulated and your contractions come fast and furiously from the get-go. So there's very little rest and recovery time in between contractions so that you can have a bite to eat, have something to drink and just have a bit of a breather before your next contraction starts. And because of the unnatural way that induced labours progress, that can lead your baby to being in distress because they don't get any rest and recovery time between contractions either. Your body, especially the muscles of your uterus, tire out more quickly. They don't work as efficiently and effectively for you, and that can then lead to medical interventions like an unplanned C-section. My 8th top tip, oh, that sounds like a bit of a tongue twister, couldn't say it properly. So yeah, my 8th top tip is to avoid having an epidural if you possibly can. When you have an epidural, it's like you're temporarily paralysed from the waist down, so you end up lying down on a hospital bed, usually semi-reclined or flat on your back, and you can't use your legs. To have a smooth and comfortable birth experience and avoid a C-section, you need to be working with gravity during the birth process and getting into gravity-friendly positions to help with the cervical dilation phase of labour and to help you to push your baby out into the world. Gravity-friendly positions are ones like squatting, getting on all fours, getting on your knees and leaning over the side of something like the side of a bed, the side of the birth pool, and even walking about is great to do in labour to help your labour to progress smoothly and to help your baby to engage with your cervix and then be guided down the birth canal more easily. You can't get into any of those positions if you've had an epidural and you're paralysed from the waist down temporarily, so please avoid an epidural if you can. My 9th tip is to access great birth support. So communicate your wishes for a vaginal birth with your care team and your birth partner so that they can encourage and reassure you as your contractions get more and more intense. The chances of having a C-section increase if you feel frightened in labour, and many women start to feel fearful in labour when their contractions are getting more intense, frequent and long-lasting. If you feel fearful in childbirth, your body automatically releases adrenaline, and adrenaline causes blood and oxygen to be taken away from your uterus and your baby where it's needed the most, and it triggers a fight, flight and freeze response in your body because your body's just responding to the stress and fearful emotions. So the more fearful you become, the less efficient your uterus works, and this can then lead to complications and an unplanned C-section. So that's why it's so important to have great birth support and to have people on your side that are encouraging you, telling you that you can do it, telling you that they're proud of you, that they love you, and to keep you calm and relaxed as your contractions get stronger and more frequent. And my 10th and final tip is to do a hypnobirthing course. Hypnobirthing teaches you how to relax in labour and how you can work with your body to have a smooth, straightforward and comfortable birth experience. Hypnobirthing also teaches you what to expect during each stage of the birth process, what's happening in your body during each stage of labour, what to expect, how it's going to feel, and how you can deal with each stage of the birth process with calm and confidence. You can check out my introduction to hypnobirthing video on my YouTube channel, but if you're interested in finding out more about my hypnobirthing classes and online hypnobirthing course, you just have to click the links in the blurb beneath this video. Thank you so much for watching this video today. I hope that you found all of the information useful. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel because I upload new videos every single week and I don't want you to miss any. And do share this video with a pregnant friend of yours if you think that it can help them. Take care, lovely lady, and see you again soon. Bye!